Now let us talk about extent of required examination. 31.3, this is a piping process piping code. It is giving a lot of information how we should plan the extent of required examination. If you look into this section, that is 341.4, there are further classification of this section. For example, the heading, if you look at heading itself, it is talking about normal fluid service, right? If you go to next page, this we have already discussed. Then 4.2, this is talking about category D. 4.3, it is talking about severe cyclic conditions. 4.4, it is talking about elevated temperature fluid service. That means this code is giving us classification based on the categories which we already discussed in detail in part 1. If you're not gone through, please go through that, then you will be able to understand it very quickly. So this section where we are deciding the extent of examination, how much examination we have to perform on a particular weld or casting. These four categories will help us to understand how to proceed to decide the extent. Okay, so let us go to the beginning of this section. If you see this one, let us try to understand first for normal fluid service what kind of clauses are there in this section itself, right? These tables we already talked, right? Now for example, if we're talking about visual examination, how much visual examination we have to perform, right? If you look at these, this is defining the extent. Sufficient materials and components selected at random to satisfy examiner that they conform to specifications and are free from defects. Remember, we talked about the responsibilities, either from inspector side, third party, contractor, or owner, right? They have to be satisfied. Now, how they are going to plan it? They will pick at least 5% of fabrication. Now, what do you mean by 5%? There will be a welder, right? Qualified welder. He will be performing a lot of welds in a particular system. So those welds we have to at least identify 5%. If he has done 100 welds, we have to pick 5 at least for a particular welder, and we have to examine those visually examination. Then it is talking about 100% of fabrication for longitudinal welds, right? Any welder, any number of welds, for longitudinal welds 100% fabrication has to be examined. So this way there are so many clauses related to category N, normal fluid service. Now let us look at similar things for another category. For example, if you talk about category D, right? Same way, piping and piping elements of category D fluid service as designated in the engineering design shall be visually examined in accordance to para 344.2, which we already talked, right? Necessary to satisfy the examiner code exam. Acceptance criteria are stated in para 341.3.2 and in table this for category D. These two things we talked in detail just now in previous lecture. There we discussed these criteria. If you see, this is what he's talking about. This table 341.3.2, we talked about these symbols, the categories, and then we talked about the extent, right? So this table it is talking about. So we need to understand what kind of extent they have given us. Similarly, for severe cyclic conditions, there are few clauses which we really need to understand. One, the cyclic conditions are there. Same time, they are talking about the extent of examination for elevated temperature fluid services. When we know what are these elevated temperature fluid services and what are various services in a particular plant, in a particular process plant, which can be identified under this category, then this examination will be applicable to that particular section. So that is why we talked about various fluid categories in part 1. We defined the categories against various services, and then only we can identify the testing, examination, acceptance criteria based on those fluid categories. So this way there are many clauses related to this. Now we know what is how this 31.3 is guiding us to select the acceptance and extent of examination. Now we'll summarize this in a particular table so that we can easily understand what kind of clauses are there. All these 5%, 10%, 100%, right? Various testing, their percentages, their categories. So this was all about clauses so that we can understand how it is represented in this code. Now let us go to a summary of these testings, how we are going to represent in our engineering deliverables so that this can be passed on to various stakeholders, for example to vendors at site who are actually going to perform these testing. So that summary we have to add into our engineering deliverables, right? So those tables are very important. Now let us talk about those tables so that we can summarize it in a particular manner which can be readable and understandable for all stakeholders.